Hey folks, it's that time again, Saturday afternoon. We're having a look at some development on day 9 of Groenland. And after last night, I have decided that we are kind of overthinking things slightly. Right? So we basically have this. We need to close that. This is an interactable item. Okay? Now we have got it where our item is a static item, right? Now, the thing is, in this instance, our actual static item doesn't need to have the BP static item, right? What it needs is this row number, and once we pick out the row number, then we can do what we need to do. So there's not a reason to actually do this at all. Okay, this was the part where I was trying to add a component. Now this was working, but it became a kind of circular reference. Okay, so I've kind of went off that idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete that. We're going to delete that. Right. And in fact, we're probably not even going to use this at all. Right? If we just make this so that we have a use animation montage, right? Because these are one hit things, then we can basically set this up for each item. So if we pick this up, right? We are going to say use, and this is the use event, right? So when they hit E, or whatever button it is, in this case, we're going to do this thing here. Okay. But we're going to have a look to see what we have. So we're going to have to look at the interactable item. And it's not in there either. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the actual interactable items to see where we're actually doing stuff. Right, so if we have a look at, let's say, drink, we begin play, and all we do is get that. So what we're going to have to do is, in our base interactable, we're going to have a use animation. Montage. And montage. And we'll delete that out. We can have a look at that. And we're going to have a delay for montage. Delay action for montage. Right, and that's just going to be a bool. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our struct interactable items. And we're probably going to delete that. Then we're going to add a new variable, and we're going to say delay action for montage. Right? And we're going to save that. And we're going to take that one out. We're going to hit the save button. We're going to go in here. Now this one has got the animation, and this is going to be a true. Okay. We're going to go back to here. We're going to close this down because we're not using it anymore. We're going to save that for now. Okay. To event. Use item. And that's drink. Okay. So in here, we're going to go to our class settings. We've got BP interactable. And this is our thing here, okay? So, when we load this up, we're going to get DT row number. And we're going to get data table row. Interactable items. In fact, if we check on our drink, oh, we're setting the mesh there. Okay. And if you look at interactable item, we set the outline mesh. Alright, so the question has to be, where do we set the mesh? Here. Oh, yeah, it's in there. Okay. So we don't actually need to do this here, right? What we can do is we can cut that and put it in here. Okay. So we can save that. Right, hang on a second. And if we go back to interactable item, we can set these as well. And we're practically at the point where we should just set up a variable. Just call it, let's say we'll call it item data. So it's going to be struct interactable item. And then we can stick it on view. We can set it these are in the struct, so we actually don't need these at all. We set this over here. We can do that, then move it across, put that in there, and that keeps it a bit neat and tidier. Okay, so we now have our data. Okay, so when we use an item, we can now query it to see if the animation is anything. So, for example, if we want to lean down La Casa del Gaming, no worries, mate. I just hope you learn something from it or get some inspiration or learn something not to do. But anyway, this now makes a heck of a lot more sense, right? And we can basically delete these two variables. If it's going to let us. And I think these are inherited. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save all. Right, I'm going to close everything. Then we're going to go in here. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete that. And yeah, those are inherited. Okay. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to open up our interactable item. And I'm going to delete that. And this must be in the base interactable then. Yeah, it is. Right, so we're going to delete it there and delete it there. Right. So the next thing we do when we go into our fire, we don't need to actually do that right now, but this is a special one. This is like a special case because it needs infinity weather. Right, what I'm doing here is every second I'm checking to find out if we have the infinity weather object. If we do not, then what we do is basically get it, set the reference to it, and then clear this timer, so basically we've stopped running this. Okay, now the interesting thing for our object here, right, is if we pull in the item data, we're going to do some stuff here. Right, we're going to break this. Then we're going to have two different things. Right, we're going to say, we're going to branch on this. And we're going to branch on this. Okay. So we're going to get that key press out the way. We're going to delete that. Okay. We're checking if it's active. And if this so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our interactable item and we're going to do a function and we're going to call it play montage. Okay, and then what we're going to say, we're going to have two inputs, and that's going to be montage and that's going to be an montage, and then we're going to add another one called delay. So basically, for example, if you're picking up something, you might want to play the montage and basically do the thing without any delay. So while it'll do the thing during the montage, but in some cases, like for example lighting a fire, you want the thing to happen after, right? After the montage has played. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to branch off of this. And I can't delay this. So we're going to have to change this. Right? We're actually going to have to delete this because we can't do, we could, there's two ways we could do this, right? We could do it as a custom event. So custom event, we could do it as a macro, but we'll just do it as a custom event, right? So we're going to say play animation. Sorry, I'm going to rename that. I'm going to say play montage. Okay, and we're going to have two inputs. So that's going to be delay, and that's going to be montage, and we're going to do that as anim montage. Okay, and then we're going to branch off a delay. Then we're going to say if it's true, we're going to play, sorry, actually the easiest way to do this is get ref character, then mesh, then play montage. Okay. And we are basically going to do that. Okay. And we say get play length. That goes into true. Then we say delay. That goes in there. we could actually just say on completed, right? So we don't actually need to do that, we can just say on completed. Okay, and that can go to there. And if it's not, well, actually we don't delete that, and we probably could have done this in a function. And I believe we can basically, no, we do need that. Right, so we duplicate that. That does go in there. That does go in there. That can go there. That goes true. That goes false. We can drag this down, tidy it up. Not sure, I've never done it this way, right? But what we can do, right? Oh, apparently we can't have an output. Okay. I'm wondering. The easiest way to do this would be to put on a delay, right? So we could do as the one I was doing before, right? Now I might play with this later, right? So we say delay, and again this would change the logic slightly, because we could just basically play it, and then if it's got the delay then we wait, and if it's not, we don't. If we do it as a function and this part still works, then we could do it the original way without the get play length. We could just do it on completed and just do it straight off, right? Anyway, so if we now go back to our Firebrazer, right? So if we don't, so this needs split up a little bit more. Right? So either way, we play montage. Okay? Okay, we don't. What's it called? It is called play montage. So we'll rename this to play use montage. Okay? And then we'll go back to here and we'll say play use montage. Okay? And we'll do this check in the play montage so that we don't need to be doing even more flapping about with branches off of branches, right? That's going to make it look even more. Delay action for montage and use montage, right? And then what we can do is we can hide unconnected pins. So in actual fact we can do that and plug this in here, so we don't need to know if it's active or not before we do this. Okay? So my thought is or the way to test this is if we press oh wait a minute, we need to go to play montage, right? And the first thing we need to do right, we need to say is valid. Okay, so if it's not valid, we basically don't do anything in here. If it is, we grab the length, etc. Right, we can do that to tidy it up a bit. Right, so in theory this should work. Right, so if I press R, okay, we've got use, resume, okay, that's doing jack. So we'll do that again. Step into, step over, into, Ah, this is static item. Right, okay. Stop that. Right, so we know what the problem is here. It's because that is a static item, right, which is not what we want. We want our Firebrazer version 2. Okay. Okay, so not good. There's an interesting thing. Yeah, it has got a DT row number. Ah, that's a good point. So that's going to be 6. All these little okay, so we step into that. Okay, so we stop that, and there's something going on here. Let's have a look at the class settings. BPI interactable. The question is it to do with this? Let's do that. I don't think I need those at all. But we'll soon find out. Right. So apparently we don't have an interactable item. Okay. Now I am just wondering, I believe that the issue before was it wasn't big enough. The collision wasn't big enough. That's weird. right? So we're using item, step over, and our montage. Okay, if we step into step over our interesting. Okay. So there's something going on here, because number one, it's not setting itself up. I am interested in what this data says. Right. Nothing. Right, so this is not bringing back anything. Right, so our base interactable, sorry, our interactable item we need a parent call function. Right, so now we have our different things. Right? And now it seems to be doing what it should be doing. We are going to have to check this in a minute. But first of all, if you guys are enjoying the stream and the content, hit the like and subscribe. I'm going to get a 2-minute break. I shall be back very shortly. Check out the description while you're hanging around for 2 seconds. You'll find links to Discord, my previous game on Steam, and links to support the channel and the game on Patreon. I shall be back in 2 minutes, guys. Okay, we are back. Now, let's find out where this is going wrong. We're getting the outline, but we are not getting the correct setting. If we are using it, we can basically disable that, resume. It's going to take us down to here. We can step over, step into, step over. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So that's okay. Then we resume. Right, now it did not play our montage. Okay. We've got two issues here. Number one, it didn't play the montage. And number two, access none. Okay, this is your standard error messages. And we're getting on interact. Okay, interactable item. Hey Paul, thank you very much. Now the interesting thing here is where this is set. Right? And it looks to me that it's never set anywhere. But it has to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at food again. And yeah, we need this. Copy that in here. And I'm getting to the point where I believe this should really be set in the interactable item. Right? This really only makes sense to set it in here. Right? Move these along a bit. Right. So now, in theory, for like our food, we don't need to do that. Right, so for any of our, to be quite honest, we can practically do that in the interactable item as well. We can probably do this in the interactable item. Anyway, we can delete that. We can do that. And I'm hoping now that this will be totally sorted out. Right. So we should get our interact buttons here along with the correct stuff. Okay. So basically, when we walk up here, there we go. We can do that. And I'm just going to resume at this point to see if it plays. And it does. It didn't delay though. Right? You will have noticed that. So what I want to see is whether it actually plays the right one. And if I actually need to have a return on this, right, but we should be able to resume, and it is doing this. What's it doing? Right, let's take these breakpoints off for now. Okay. So it's playing it straight away. So that's not good for us. Okay. Because we want it to actually delay before it comes into here and then activates stuff. Right? So we're going to come back in here and we're going to create a macro instead. In fact, let's delete that. Let's try this as a function, right? Oh, piss off. Right, let's try this as a function. Play animation. Play animation montage. Okay. Montage. And delay. Okay. Then we're going to go back to our event graph. We're going to do this. Copy that. we're going to go back to here. Interactable item. And right, so we're going to grab this, which is exactly what I just did. I'm basically losing my mind. We're going to do that. Ah, see, it doesn't allow me to. It doesn't allow me to do that. Right, now that's what I was kind of worried about. Right, so I'm going to delete that. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy it. And then we're going to put it in a macro. Right, now it's going to allow us to do that. Okay. So that is going to go in here. And that is going to go in there. That's going to be montage. And montage. And that's going to be delay. That's going to be Boolean. Right. And our output we plugged into. Right, we're going to delete that for now. I'm an idiot. Right, so on completed. And then this one just goes straight in. Right. So now we've got our new macro. And we'll just call it use montage. We'll just call it play use till we get rid of the other stuff. Right, so if we go to our event graph, we can basically get rid of this. Or can we? Yeah, we can. And then we can go back to here. And we can say play, use. Okay, we'll delete that. And we say please use montage. Wow. Well, I'm shocked. That's a strange one. Okay. We're going to say get parent. No, we don't want that. Interactable item. Copy that. So can I not use macros? Apparently not. Wow. I am absolutely astounded. I am astounded. Not only astounded, I'm stumped. Well, what I can do is I can say is valid. Right? And if it's not valid, I'll go straight in there. Right? If it is valid, then a branch and if that's false, I go to there. Right? So we'll gradually tidy this up as I'm doing it. Okay, now if that's true, I get length right, and then a delay. Right, and that basically goes here. Right. Now I can tidy this up further in a minute, but we'll do this in the meantime. and we'll save that. We'll do that. Right, and we'll look at our play montage. Right, and we'll basically copy that. And then we shall delete that. Okay. We'll save that. We'll go back to here. We'll add a function. And we'll say play, use montage. And we don't need the delay anymore, so we just basically need montage. Right, so we just say ref character mesh and then play montage. The heck? So I can't play a montage within. Okay, whatever. I can't play a montage within a function. Kinda makes sense, but kinda doesn't. Right, so we're just going to do custom event. Right, and we'll just say play, use montage. Right, and we don't even need any shit, because we can basically just get it from this item data. Right, so we can just say not that. Right, we can just say ref character play. No, we don't want that. Let me just say mesh play montage, and we do that one. And we do that. Then this, we hide unconnected pins. We drag that there. We drag that there. We zoom that up a bit. And we drag this over a bit. Then we can just do that. And now we don't give a crap. Okay, so now in here, we just say play use montage. Okay. And we do and we shimmy this along. And we shimmy that along. Right, we play it. We branch, we go. Okay. So this has been a bit of a palaver. And now she should do it. And there you go. Perfect. Goes in, sticks her head in the fire and switches it off.